You ready, beer? What's going on, everybody?
Happy Friday.
What's up? What's up? This is another episode here of SLTV.
Forgot to link the Berger.
Oh, the little thing?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, we can do it right here.
Yeah, just shoot that to him in Slack.
All right. Slack. What's going on, guys? What's going on, guys? Another episode here of SLTV. We got a special guest here from Florida by way of Switzerland. Serge, why don't you go ahead and say what's up, man?
What's up, guys? Happy to see you Friday.
Wow, that was the weakest.
Yeah, I know.
It's just lame, man.
It's the beer.
It's the beer. What kind of beer do we have here, guys?
Omegon.
Omegon?
You should know about Omegon, right? It's like German Swiss beer. It's American craft.
But it's 9%. It's 9% alcohol.
It's like wine, dude.
Yeah, it tastes like wine.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Actually, it tastes kind of vinegar.
Anyway, so what are you up to here in New York City, man?
Well, I'm seeing you guys.
Absolutely. I know the boys saw you earlier at an event. What
We went to the well, we just met up with a joint client, but I was here for the Traders Expo.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I was supposed to show up.
I know.
And
everyone was saying, "Where's Lucian?"
And get wasted with everybody.
Yeah.
Did you guys end up going out then?
I did, but there's, it's like these things are funny. These trade shows, they're sort of, it's good and bad, right? And it's organized, but it's not.
Right.
So you can see I'm hedging my true feelings here, but it's true. It's like, I don't know. I think those things are really changing. So anyway, that's what I came here for. Yeah. And just to hang out and just meet clients. And
very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
It's good to be back.
Now, how long are you here in the city?
Couple weeks.
Open-ended thing.
Yeah. Probably a couple weeks. Okay. The weather sucks though.
So, guys, I mean, Serge is kind of like working on sort of a live initiative here to sort of re-kick off, the expo thing. I mean, the expo used to be the place where it all happened. If you were a trader, you went to the expo. If you were an automated trader, whatever it was, you went to the expo. And then all of a sudden, there was just something that happened. Was it because we weren't in a bull market? Was that why we went through those couple periods of just mayhem where people just got turned off?
Quite frankly, I think a lot of you can just kind of point back to, the edge of how we communicate with each other now.
Right.
It's all about communication.
Right.
And I think, you look at the give you an example. When I used to work in the sell side, and, this isn't that many years ago,
right,
the communication was, for the most part, either by phone or by a Bloomberg messaging system.
Okay.
Now it's basically 100% instant chat.
Right.
So phone calls basically don't exist anymore.
Nope.
And
I get Twitter DMs.
Right.
I don't tell people.
Exactly. So
I get a voicemail. I haven't checked the voicemail in fucking 2 years.
So it's the same thing with this. How the way we communicate and the way stuff is consumed. That's one thing. And the other thing is people are sick of getting pitched.
Which happens now, by the way. If anybody goes to, there was a while where I went to an expo and all the people that had booths or whatever, they would hire these hot women to, pass out cards and everything and to talk. They didn't know what the hell they would do. They didn't know they didn't know anything about it.
I still need to work on the Traders Expo. I don't think I saw any hot women, which might be why it's not working. Right?
Indeed.
But no, I think it's just changing. It's obviously still drawing a whole bunch of people, but if you look at the demographics, it's decidedly old.
Right.
And you sort of see by the questions you get when you get a couple presentations, and the questions you get are fairly low quality.
Right.
So it's I think demographics going to change as well there.
So guys, here we're on with Serge here from thesteadytrader.com. You guys can check them out there. Feel free to chat. Are any of you guys going to the expo? What do you guys think of the expo? Go ahead and throw your comments here in the chat box. What else are you doing here in the city?
Well, I'm working my normal hours. I get up at 5.
Yeah. Well, let's talk markets here. Now that we're kind of on this thing. Last we spoke, you were pretty bullish, I believe. You were pretty bullish. You weren't really, but you were short. I remember you were short the indexes. you're a short SPY, and this was a while ago. This was like 3 months ago or something like that. 3-4 months ago or something.
Right. I think we spoke in December.
Yeah, yeah. So, so how you trade the market?
Right. So that was like, you know, the way I look at things is sort of a mix of, you know, top down, bottom up.
Right.
And I think if you realistically want to manage money that's sort of scalable, I do think you have to have an understanding of the structure of the market. So,
Definitely.
you know, so when we were talking in December, I was short some SPYs.
Right.
Just sort of, you know, fairly aggressively trading alongside.
Trading
so we still made like 5-6%.
Absolutely.
Despite of that.
Absolutely.
The problem now is, you know, we had a January that was weird.
Very weird.
Very strange.
Very strange.
You know, for intraday tickers, that might have worked a little bit.
Right.
And then February was from an equity perspective, we had, you know, we were done one day and then we just rallied. But from a macro perspective, things were still weird.
Right.
Volatility has collapsed in a lot of the
Absolutely.
you know, cross markets.
Absolutely.
You know, today as you speak, of course, we had a bit of another strange day. So it's just kind of, I feel like a lot of people are still waiting for a better directional move.
Right.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We've had one in bonds, but not so much anywhere else, really. You know?
Yeah, I think for my guys, for my world, we had that period where, you know, finally we hit those all-time highs, and then just like you said, the juice went sporadically through these intraday names where you could scalp in, scalp out of something and make some really good money. That was like February, and now we're kind of in this la-la land here. And then you see a day like today, which was much needed, of course, for a lot of these names, and it just comes out of nowhere here last hour of the day.
Yeah, it's funny. Like I sort of started noticing about a week ago. I started seeing a little better sector rotation or group rotation. Like you start seeing like some of the banks started acting a little better.
Yes. Yes.
And there's some of those like steel names like a couple weeks ago. So there was, you know, like to me that's always where I start making my performance. Like, you know, as you know, performance is never linear. It's
absolutely.
I tend to have these like sort of 5% profit pockets,
right?
You know, and then you have nothing for 3 months,
and then you have nothing for
and then you have 5%.
And by the way, that's why they call him a steady trader, right? I mean, he's gotten to a point where this is his thing, and that's what he's doing. You know what I mean? And
I think it's just a matter of, it's a personality thing, right?
It is.
I just have a hard time sleeping with a lot of risk on. and to me, it's like, you know, if say you make 5% in any given month or quarter, whatever it is, you know, to then mess up and be down 3% in a month. Like to me, it's like running in circles.
And it's like I'm still like learning this lesson myself, you know. And I'm very high risk. I'm extremely high risk. I want risk every single day. I'm looking for it every single day. And, you know, oftentimes this leads me down that sort of path. You know what I mean?
Look, it does me too. I mean, I'll be honest. This year I'm thinking down like 2.5%. Right. Today I got smacked in the face by. I just didn't see that rates move coming. Right. And you know, what's the problem this year? From a macro perspective, you had rates up since February, we talked about before, and combined with dollar up, and that is basically lethal for things like gold, and just it's a deflation story. So the question now becomes, you know, at what point does that start catching up with reality, or what time do equities start waking up to this reality? I mean, everything that came out today is basically deflationary. Everything. The dollar keeps going up. You know, we have this massive interest rate differential between Europe and the U.S. Which is why the euro is collapsing, and you know, it's all deflationary. So I don't see how, you know, so somewhere equities have to kind of readjust to that. Right. And so I think that's true.
And by the way, like, and again, in my world, like Twitter has been extremely bullish on absolutely everything, anything and everything, whatever sector there is, absolutely anything. So days like today really take people off the beaten path, and surprise everyone. So now it forces everyone to go back into questioning their faith, so to speak.
Well, and you know, and speaking of questioning, I think last time we talked about sort of you know, having, you know, being fairly you know, having a good routine. I think it's one of the things we talk about. Yeah. And if you look at today, like I made my morning video today, which I make for my subscribers. I'll make it just as much for myself to kind of put myself in rhythm. And I said, listen, guys, it's Friday. I'm probably gonna skip out half day point, and I'm really making a big decision on Friday. And that's true for the most part. But you get a day like today, I had to make major decisions. Took a massive smack in the head on gold miners. You know, and sure enough, I was still trading until like 3 o'clock before I got here. Which is totally atypical for me on a Friday, but you gotta be flexible.
You gotta be flexible.
I mean, I'm not gonna go to, you know, into the weekend with a
with
a market that's totally changed versus my portfolio. That's silly.
Absolutely. And again, I mean, this is sort of where you know, the bias for my world comes in. You know, everybody's super biased on the long side, and then you have this sort of check. You know, you have this sort of check in the market. So it was due anyway.
So how was for you? How was this move today? in financials. I saw you tweeted something out.
Yeah, so I'm like long. I was like planning on putting a whole book long on the banks, and then I thought about it after in the afternoon, and I was like, this does not.
Oh, right. A lot of the banks already kind of started breaking down. Like
absolutely,
Goldman popped until like what 10:30, 11.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then Bank of America, too, has already been sort of the dog.
Right.
And then all these other names, like, yeah, they're floating up. And just like so many other names, they're just floating up for such a long time. So many people are squeezed into the long side. There has to be that sort of
It's the low volatility,
right.
melt up. I called it in February. If you look at the Russell 2000, which, by the way, guys, is a terrific index to get a truer read of the U.S. economy, because the S&P is totally tame. For one, 15,000 hedge funds are chasing the same index, which is bananas. Right.
Well, what do you think? Okay, we'll finish yours.
Yeah.
And then we'll do Apple going to the Dow.
Okay. Yeah, that's another good one.
Yeah.
And so basically the Russell had this really slow melt up.
Right.
And literally no volatility. I mean, volatility crashed within the Russell. So every time you have that, you have a pretty big mean reversion of like 3, 4, 5% very quickly.
Right.
And I think
that was also the sell put trade. Like I was every single day just selling puts, selling puts.
Smart.
Finally.
And you keep those overnight, or?
I never usually do.
Okay.
Simply because like the leverage to hold it overnight, screws you the next morning,
right.
all that kind of stuff. But anybody who was holding onto that trade, obviously today, is looking at their portfolio, probably wiped out their gains from the last month.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Like, what's the point? I mean,
exactly.
It sucks. It just the thing is, it messes with your head.
Yeah.
Gets rid of your confidence.
Right.
At the end of the day, you just ran in circles for no reason.
Right.
Worst thing, maybe you bought a new car because of it, and now.
Nice. And again, like that's one of the things that Serge is out here trying to do as far as building a community on the sort of lifestyle of trading, or how you should sort of conduct your life here if you want to be a career trader, if you want to be a steady trader, obviously a patient trader, versus the one who is sort of in and out, and then even with the market itself, you might be in for 3 months and then he's done. Wipes out his account and he's freaking done.
Well, it's a lifestyle because
right.
it takes a certain rhythm and. I'm not getting the word right now, but basically, I think it's a lifestyle because you got to take it serious. I think a lot of people get into this business, whether it's trading or whatever they want to call it, just managing their own finance, and they come into it basically treating it as a game,
right?
And it's not a game.
Right.
It's very serious.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
So
you got to control your inputs.
That's right. So you got to be able to control your emotions and have a system in place, and it's very hard. I mean, we talked about
absolutely. I mean, I waft from the sort of correct emotions to the bad emotions all the time. It takes that learning curve, and it's difficult especially when you're starting out. There's nobody there to tell you these things, right? I mean, you might go ahead and buy a class, you might buy an alert service or whatever it is. Like none of this stuff is thrown out there to you. It's just the next trade. And if let's say you get caught on a day like today going long something because that's the predetermined notion or whatever, you get stuck here. And when you get pumped like that, you don't have the sort of moxie to come back or the understanding of the market in such that you can continue to come back or try to save yourself from those situations.
Well, see, we can because we have a system. Right?
Exactly.
The problem is a lot of guys that come in, they'll subscribe to XYZ,
right,
and doesn't make them 20% a month,
exactly,
which is crazy anyway.
Right. And
they'll jump to something else.
Exactly.
So they actually don't know if anything works. I have a lot of guys leaving after like 2 or 3 months, and then they'll look at my full year end and see, oh, you have 20%.
Right.
But they jumped out when I was flat for 3 months.
Exactly.
And it's
because it was no activity. There was no this. There was no that.
Yeah, it's just they come in and out and they're just kind of punting, and it takes time to develop a system. It takes many years to get it down.
Right.
And even then you have to tinker with it. So if you can't stick to one thing, you're just if you're schizophrenic, that's fine. But otherwise, it's hard to. It's hard to trade that way, right?
No doubt. So guys, again, we are here with Serge from thesteadytrader.com. You guys can link up with him at thesteadytrader.com. Kicking back, grabbing some beers, man. What are you up to this weekend, man?
To the extent that I can disclose, I shall remain in the city, and I got a dinner tonight with a guy I haven't seen since you might even be watching. I don't know. He's running a hedge fund now, I think, since I haven't seen him since college, so that'd be cool.
Yeah.
And otherwise, yeah, stuff.
Do you feel like New York City, like when you come to the city though, it's like it's just prevalent right away. As soon as you step out that.
I've lived here, a number of years and sort of back and forth, and New York is one of those things. Like I remember when I came here the first time,
right?
And landed, and you could literally. This might sound silly, but you can actually feel land. You can actually literally, if you really look, you can actually really feel the ground vibrate. You land in like Idaho, nothing vibrates. And so it's cool. It's but at the same time, for sort of for like what we do, it's easy to get caught up with the mainstream and start buying Apple at all-time highs.
Of course.
When Jim Cramer says jumping up and down like crazy.
Right.
In all respect. So I think that's the problem. There's sort of this herd mentality in the city as well. You have to be able to detach from.
And do your own thing. That's a good point. It's a really good point, because especially in the world of finance, so to speak, or in Wall Street, here in Manhattan, it gets pretty crazy. It gets pretty crazy. But just like you said, like everybody goes to the same bars. Everybody knows the same people. Everybody lives the same.
And you think you can hide?
You think you can hide?
You can't hide.
You can't. Everybody knows everything.
You might have seen a girl 2 months ago, and that when you don't want to bump into her, you get bumped into her.
Indeed.
How many million people live here now?
I think it's like 8, 9, 10, something like that.
Yeah, but how about Manhattan? Let's talk about that's all burbs.
Yeah,
Manhattan.
Right.
That's
Manhattan's
a
couple. Yeah.
We are such non-New Yorkers for not knowing that.
Yeah, but that's the other thing.
I know we both lived here.
Yeah, but everybody that lives in Manhattan, they're not from here. People that live in Manhattan. If you live in New York, if you're a true New Yorker, you live in Brooklyn, you live in Queens, you might live in Jersey, you live in Long Island City, or you live in Long Island.
That's true.
Anybody who's in Manhattan proper, like if you have an apartment in Midtown West, you are not from here. There's nobody that's from here that wants to live in Midtown West. That's right. The weirdest place ever, where you walk out of your door and see somebody dressed in a Spider-Man outfit, asking for change, man. All right, guys. So listen, we're gonna take off here. Kenny, you remember Kenny from the Traders Expo, right? Kenny Glick.
Of course I remember Kenny. I sent him an email. I sent you an email.
Yeah,
by the way.
Yeah, from Hit the Bid Radio. Kenny, what's going on, man? Well, everybody, again, you guys can check out Serge at steadytrader.com. Apologies for any of the audio, video issues that we've had. Hopefully, the recording will come out a little bit better. But again, man, Serge, any last words?
You want to talk about Apple?
Oh, man.
What's your take on Apple? Where did it close today?
126. 126.5.
So it slid. Did it close at the lows?
I think it was one of the only ones that stayed positive. One of the only ones that stayed positive today.
Did it close down, dude?
It closed flat.
Close flat.
Close flat because that's because it down. Yeah. But I think like today. Right. Well, it's one of those days like today. If we would have seen, if it wasn't for the news for the Dow Jones,
right? I
think we could have had an Apple down day.
Oh, absolutely.
It would have been much more meaningful down day. So I think Apple. With 750 billion market cap. Are you kidding me?
Absolutely.
It's going to keep this market up regardless of what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, like, you guys see the price targets, right? You guys see all the big analysts putting out $145, $150 price targets on this thing. $1 trillion valuation. You see them in the news now with the Apple car and blah, blah, blah. Anytime you see this sort of massive amping up of news-related price targets, things like that, like there has to be a reaction for it. And then on top of that, you got Apple joining the Dow. Somehow they want to resurrect this Dow as the most bullshit index that's on the planet now. Now that we have Apple, maybe people will start using this thing. So what do I think? Honestly, I think it's going to go dead for a considerable period. And in that case, I'll be selling calls and puts all day.
Well, I think that's like if you from a non-intraday point of view, Apple's always been one of those things, and you can take some of the other stocks too. But Apple doesn't have a crazy IB.
Yes,
right? It doesn't have a crazy volatility, but you still have an opportunity to sell crazy amounts of out of money calls.
Absolutely.
2-3 months out and just go on vacation.
Absolutely.
Especially after a month in February, we just went.
Absolutely. And you know what? I'll give you guys a great example, right? And anybody who follows me on Twitter, right? You guys know I was shorting Apple like at 132 and 133, right? And dude, the shitstorm that I got after just saying it, right? Just saying it was absolutely nuts. The next day, the thing hits like 134 and then tanks like 4 points, right? And I crassly crushed the stand, and then nobody had anything to say about it. And that was the point. That was the point. I'm like, dude, this thing's gonna go dead for a while.
Well, that's one of the best sentiment indicators. I have a column I write on investorplace.com every day, and to me, when I write about Apple, and I'll do it intentionally every once in a while, and every time I write about it, just because I see a setup. But sometimes when it's like just peaking at all-time highs, I'll do it. I'll push it forward just because I want to get the sentiment. So pretty much at the lows, when it peaked out in September 2012. Okay. It peaked out, I think, last time.
$700, right?
Right, $700.
Yeah.
Just don't worry about it.
This computer's done. I started saying, I think it's done.
Okay.
And semi-death threats.
And by the way, that was the same time where I don't know if it was Goldman or somebody else. Somebody put a $950.
Yeah, exactly. That was that. They had like $950.
There was a $950 price. Somebody even put $1,000 price.
Exactly. They slapped it down. Right. So then you fast forward down. Apple drops what 30-ish% or something. I don't know how much it dropped.
Oh yeah, I think it was more than that. It was like 40%. It came down to $420.
Okay, perfect. So a nice retracement, right? Which makes sense. Right. So then I started thinking around May or June or July, I started saying 2013, I'm like, guys, I think it's probably time to, and again, Apple's done,
And that's what Icon took the step forward. And he was like,
until he started buying shares.
Right. He was like, this is a no-brainer or whatever. He started buying like 450 or something like that. I don't know what the filings were or anything.
So that's a great, sentiment stuff. You can build Contra stream on Twitter.
Yes.
Or go to some of the better columns like whatever you find online. It is terrific. I mean, really, for these big things, you will increase the probability of making successful trades. Tenfold. So then,
I guess to end this off, then, what do you feel about the algorithms now that use social media, that use Twitter?
Listen, I think it makes sense.
Right.
I really do. Right. I personally always like to see kind of what how the algorithms are kind of calculated, because I think there's a lot of faulty stuff out there. Right. Not even on purpose, just because the amount of code that goes into it.
Of course. The code, if your code is whack.
Yeah, you got an issue, right? So no, but listen, I think it's great. I really do. And that's one of the beauties of the social media stuff and everything we got is you can actually get sentiments read like never before. Right. Like on anything. Right.
Right. And before, again, I mean, it was always tape for me, right? It's bid and ask. It's just sitting there looking at transactions.
Well, now you overlay the sentiment stuff.
And now you overlay this on top of that, and you have sort of these extra indicators. Sure. And you know what? Actually, and this was something that I was telling my subscribers too, is that the definition of a technical indicator is different now. It's different now. It's not it's not your chart pattern. It's not this. It's not that. Because that shit it's old, and oftentimes it leads you down a path that you can't come out of anyway, right? And the different thing now about indicators is like it's stuff like this. It's social media. It's it might be order flow. It might be this or that, and that's your new definition of the indicator.
Well, I think it's an additional, like I said, I think it's an additional thing. So, like for example, the other day, the NAS composite bumped it to 5,000. I don't know how high. So some dude's talking about double tops.
Yeah.
I was just like,
are you serious?
Dude, it's a 15-year double top. Yeah. That is about as likely as whatever. Right. So the people take the technical analysis 101 stuff, which still gets bought, and they take that as like the Bible. Right. And it's not. It's you have to understand that, but you really need to start using some of this new stuff. Social media stuff, and anyway, it's all about risk management. If you can be a good risk manager, it doesn't matter if you have the crappiest system in the world, you'll still be all right.
You still be fine. Exactly. There's so many old school traders that are, they're not on Twitter. They're not on Twitter. They're not on any of this shit. They're still banking,
never gonna be
$1 million, $2 million a year. You guys are never gonna talk to these people. So we got a ton of questions here. Let's just shoot the shit here. Sean Johnson says, how does saying no Elon Musk? Dude, I got him in my back pocket, man. Tesla, man. He told me, actually, you know what? Just like he told y'all to sell the stock off that earnings call, he sent me a text message and say, yo, short my stock. Fuck everybody on Twitter. That's what he told me. Let's see. We got some more questions. Oh boy, this is an R-rated question. Does Greg show girls his Sanlucci tat? Did you know Greg got a tattoo of Sanlucci on the back of his? No. He got it right here. He got it right here. He got an SL tattoo. He's not here. Nice. But he got
Seriously?
dead ass, man. Dead ass. He got a tattoo.
You're a strong influencer.
But like your lifestyle stuff, right?
Yeah, I guess it falls into that.
Right. Imagine you bring somebody sort of back from the dead, right? He has messed up lifestyle, this and that, right? It's sort of like your mentor.
Yeah. So that's why he got the tattoo.
It's not a lifestyle thing. That's a life.
It's a life. AA saying, yo, Lucci, what happened at the Stock Twist meetup? You get into crazy shit with Kenny. Listen, Kenny Glick is a crazy man, okay? Hit the bid radio, hit the bid, and all that he stands for is just crazy. He's a crazy Jew. He's a crazy Jew, and there's no other way to explain anything around that.
Tell him to respond back to my email. Send me a message.
Yeah, Kenny, hit Serge back, man. Stop being.
I send it to your info email.
You know? Stop being a Jew, man. Just send it over to him, man. All right, guys. We're going to take off. Serge and I are going to drink a little bit. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you soon, man. We'll see you soon.
That's right. Thank you.